numbers there. I was just checking my numbers there. What I do is I read the book's text and then I reference that with the molecular biology of cell, which is kind of the Bible of cell biology, which is like in its 8th edition, so it's up to date, just to double check. So during synthesis, the wrong base is added, and I was right when I said roughly 1 in 1,000 to 10,000 bases, or NT. What does NT stand for? So what are we talking about? Nucleotides. Okay, that's a clue. Okay. But with this proofreading, and proofreading happens. Proofreading is a correcting mechanism. It's like a spell checker. This happens during transcription. Happens during replication, not later. Because this is also not perfect. So this happens during replication. The proofreading reduces this mistake from 1 in 1,000 to 10,000 to 1 in 10 million. So it reduces the error rate to 1 error in 10 million nucleotides. That's pretty damn good. And still 1 in 10 million. So let's see, so if we just relied on that to correct the mistakes, how many mutations you'd have per cell division, per cell? Well, there's 3.2 billion nucleotides in a cell. Oh good, my wife just landed in Hawaii. Good for her. She didn't take me. She offered to take us, I can't. I couldn't abandon you. What a mistake.
Take us too.
Yeah, sure. Fat chance of that.
Study abroad trip.
That's what I want, is a bunch of students on my Hawaii trip. Yeah, I'm not that delirious. Maybe crazy, but not that crazy. So 3.2 billion nucleotides divided by 10 million. I'm terrible at math, that's why I got to use this brain in my pocket. You still have over 300 mutations per cell division. 300 mutations per cell division. Woo, that build up fast. And with trillions of cells, as you're talking about 300 trillion mutations. Wow, I don't like that at all. So this cannot be the end of the repair mechanisms. It reduces the error rate, but you still have a mountain of mutations if this was it. Okay? So there are other ways to reduce the damage rate. Now, let's also mention the fact that there are other sources of misspellings besides just replication mistakes. Your body temperature is 90. It's pretty warm for a mammal. You know what do molecules do when it's warm? They're banging around even faster. So there's a lot of spontaneous mutation just due to your body temperature. Okay, not to mention the mutagenic world we live in, the UV radiation that we're exposed to, and the chemicals, natural and synthetic, in our food and in the air that we breathe. I saw a talk by the CEO of Genentech a number of years ago. He said the two best things you do to avoid getting cancer is stay out of the sun and don't smoke. Those are two of the biggest types of cancer are skin cancer from too much sunburn and all the mutagens in cigarette smoke. But regardless of that, just your body temperature means that mutations happen spontaneously all the time. And so there has to be another layer of DNA repair. It has to be super active to try to maintain the stability of your genome. Okay, here are two of the most common mutations that happen in DNA, just from natural body temperature. One is a depurination. So there are two. Remember, the purines are the double ring bases. There's two. There's G and there's A. This is G here, showing you G. In depurination, a spontaneous mutation just knocks the nucleotide off, and all that's left in the strand is a sugar. That's not a good thing. Because then, if you're replicating that, you can't tell what the hell the base was. And in fact, depurinations, if they're not corrected, can lead to a deletion in the chromosome. So now your spelling is off. Crucial? Depends where it happens. can lead to it, but fortunately they're repair mechanisms. We'll try to catch that. We'll look at them in the next slide. So this is a very common mutation. It's happening thousands of times in you right now. Guaranteed. No matter how clean your life is, you're still acquiring mutations through these spontaneous chemical changes. You cannot do anything about that. You just need to keep yourself healthy and fit to keep your repair mechanisms working as best you can. That's what you got to do. Okay? The other common spontaneous change in DNA is a deamination. I hate to show you all this chemistry here, but here's a cytosine. This is one of the pure pyrimidines, the single ring bases. There's the amine group there. This is a very common spontaneous change where the amidine is lost. It's hydrolysis. Where does water come from? Shit, it's everywhere in the cell. Can't live without water. So it knocks the amine off. And what does cytosine become? Becomes uracil. Uracil. No, you're not. Yes, you are. I thought a uracil was a marine mammal. No, it's not. It's you. Uracil. No, you're a prick. No, just kidding. Uracil. Uracil. Is that in DNA? Where is it? Where does it occur naturally? RNA. You can see, I'm going to lead to why uracil is not in DNA. Because if uracil was a natural base in DNA, these mutations would happen and the cell couldn't tell if it was supposed to be there or not. But if it happens in DNA, the cell knows this baby doesn't belong here. Because if the C were to become, now C bonds with G, doesn't it? Deamination, but loses this amino group here. It's lost. Okay, the C becomes a U. And what should it bond with then? What's the bonding relationship for U? It's A. So if RNA was our genetic material, a lot of our C's would have been converted to U's. Our genetic code would be full of mutation. And so having T instead of, if you deaminate T, it doesn't become uracil. It becomes a damaged base that the mech itself can recognize and fix. Here, if it becomes a U, okay, the C becomes a U, there's G still there, the repair mechanism says, okay, if RNA was my genetic molecule, well, which one's the correct one? Half of them I'll fix that, half of them I'll fix that. And most of the C's have been lost. But since U is not natural DNA, it says, I know that's wrong. I'm going to make it back to C and restore the right base pair. Make sense? That's why, because RNA precedes DNA in the history of life. DNA replaced U and RNA to make the genome more stable. Does that make sense? I hope so, because it'll be on exam 3. So here's what would happen if you were to deaminate C. It becomes a U, the base pairing doesn't work anymore. Okay? And so, if you were part of our DNA, it could try to fix it and say, okay, I know there's a mispair, so half the time I'll make it an A, and we got a base pair change. Maybe you've got a critical gene misspelled, and the other half time to restore it. But still 50% is no good. So, the fact that U is not part of the DNA, the repair mechanism will almost always go this direction. Remove the U. I'll show you the repair mechanism. It's called base excision repair. We'll recognize the U as you're not part of the DNA gang. You're part of that stupid RNA gang. We're going to cut you out and restore the C. Now, in a depurination, the base is gone. The A is gone. We lost the nucleotide ring. The sugar phosphate's still there. Okay, and then when it tries to when DNA replication occurs, well, it sees no base and just eliminates it. Now you got a deletion. Okay, be nice if we could restore it, but sometimes it causes a deletion. Now is the deletion a big deal? Is one base a big deal in deletion? Well, let me show you why it is a big deal. Because when we get to chapter 15, you're going to see that the DNA code really it's the RNA transcript, but it's read in 3s. Have you heard of codons? The bases are read in 3s. I'll do RNA letters here, because that's what's actually read by the ribosome. Okay? It's called a reading frame. You have to read it in the right 3s. You got to read these 3, and not those three. Or not those three. There's along a stretch of DNA, there's 3 reading frames, but only one is correct. Okay? So if you have a deletion here, downstream everything is off. You have a reading frame mutation. That's a serious mutation. Now the whole gene downstream is screwed. One misspelling, maybe I can live with that. But one deletion, that's bad news. You see that? So this is a commutation that can be serious unless the repair mechanisms can fix it. Now I'll show you how they fix it next. Okay? I don't sneeze. I feel hay fever coming, and I left my Kleenex. You show me Kleenex? Damn. I got a shirt like this on the wrong. So don't be grossed out. I start doing that. I'll follow your style. Okay. Now, here's another serious type of genetic damage caused by sunlight. Sunlight is packed full of ultraviolet radiation. It's bad for, especially for us fair-skinned people. Especially since I used to live at Utah at high altitude. You've seen Robert Redford? You know who Robert Redford is? You seen his face lately? He's a blonde actor who lives in near Provo, Utah, and his face looks a little bit like shoe leather. I'm sure he's had, and I have pre-cancerous spots already. I'm going to the dermatologist like every 4 months. Check that liver and say, ow, damn it. You get them if you catch them then, you're good. If you let them go, you don't catch them precancerous, then you're up. So I gotta stand there naked and spray my like that. Yeah, okay. Fortunately, it's mostly the exposed body parts, since I'm not a nudist. All right. If I was, you wouldn't want to know that, I'm sure. So, if you're exposed to too much sunlight, ultraviolet radiation, I diverge, sorry. It can cause 2 neighboring thymines to bond together, producing a thymine